Boom chicka boom chicka boom chicka boom chicka boom chicka boom chicka. That was probably the worst intro I have ever done for this show. If I've ever done an intro for this show. Actually, we used to have an intro. It was way back when. Way early in the early days of Savannah Performance Project. The Introview. The Quarantine Introviews is what it was originally called. Now it is called The Interview. And soon I'm just going to name it The Show. Because hopefully we won't have to do this face-to-face interview format anymore. And I'll just have a brand new format that I could engage audiences with my eyes. Those are my eyes, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday, December 14th, 2020. We are just weeks away from finally being away from this year that was supposed to be the vision, 2020, the vision. And instead it was the diluted, monocular, maybe disfocused, I can't even think of the word for what this year has become. But you know what? I'm still here, and you're still here, and we're here together. The one of you that is watching, thank you for watching, one of you. I know who you are, and you're an amazing person. Please shout out your name so I can appropriately thank you for watching the show. And with that, let's just dive in, because I have such a wonderful, amazing guest with a suitable name for any guest. Yes, who else would be watching right now but the amazing, astonishing Mr. Ryan McCurdy. Hello, Ryan. How are you tonight? It's so wonderful to see you. I'm so glad you could join us. I can't tell you the amount of publicity that I threw out upon the world tonight, just today, just to elicit response from people. Hey, and we now have a second viewer. So amazing. We have doubled our viewership in mere moments. So maybe that will even expand upon that. In the meantime, we've tripled our viewership. Wow. It just increases. And I get to see the numbers go up. And you know how I am about numbers and analytics. In the meantime, without further ado, I told our guest tonight that unfortunately our green room has burned down. There is no longer a charcuterie board existing. So I apologized beforehand. But he has struggled through. He has come up and he has created his own charcuterie board, and I can't wait to hear about that. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Heady.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Thank you for these wonderful filers. These are very handy dandy. I appreciate that I now have the entire set. Look at this. I am fully prepared for any filing that needs to be done. Look at this. What would you use that for, other than breaking out of prison, which may have happened in this episode, depending upon. This year is kind of like that. It's kind of like the escape movie, Shawshank Redemption. It's like, when is the redemption going to happen? You know. Hopefully by the end of the movie. And then we'll all get to go to the beach. We will all get to be Morgan Freeman. We will all get to have that nice, like Cabana Boy experience at the end of the movie where he's just, Tim Robbins is like gently sanding the boat. And it's just like, oh yeah, that's what 2021, we all want 2021 to be, that boat at the end of this year.
Wow. I had no idea when I invited you to come on that in the first 5 minutes, I would be having sensual feelings about Morgan Freeman, but that's just
what you get.
Wow.
That's what you get when you book me. You get
the files. Yeah. So my first guess for the files would be pumpkin carving.
Oh, that's nice. I would never have thought of that, but yes, you could.
I do have a second guess, and I think it's more appropriate to what your chosen modus operandi professionalism would be. And I seem to think that there's a type of foam material that you might use that on.
Yes, that could very well be. That would be the Puppets. The Puppets.
The Puppets,
as they're said. As they're called in the foreign land of.
Yes, that has not been copyrighted. That's an actual term for
Puppets.
Puppets, yeah.
Not yet, but somebody's already on it. Somebody's on GoDaddy. So it's.
So let's just pretend for a moment that we have never met. And let's go back in your history here. Like, I know that you spent some time in Savannah, and you did some various tasks while you were here.
I did.
What was the main task that was part of your Savannah experience?
Graduating, getting out of college. Nice. That was attending the Savannah College of Art and Design, which I did for 5 years. My minor was in theater, and I really
wear my mortarboard.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I really wanted to get to know the local theater community. It was really important to me to be seeking out opportunities, and I was, seeking out opportunities. Both, film. It was. I feel like film in Savannah has just like really exploded exponentially. Just into a huge. It's like one of those like movie explosions where you start off and it's like, oh, that's a big explosion, and it just keeps engulfing, and you're like, oh, that's actually really big, and that's amazing. It's wonderful. It's the number of opportunities that have opened up, and I really was looking for any opportunity to come my way, and the Savannah Actors Theater was where I got a lot of my first opportunities as an actor in Savannah, Georgia. And it was so much fun to work in that space because it's just, well, one, it was an abandoned warehouse. You had all of this, the ideas that were being hatched in that space were unlike anything I had ever encountered in theater before. There was a livelihood. There was just this energy and this shared vision. Everybody collectively just wanted to put in hours and hours into a creative vision of labor. And my first play that I got to act in there was Crazy Face, which was a beautiful play by Clive Barker. And it's the story of Teal Eulenspiegel, a clown, which, yes, you love your clowns, sir.
I do. I love clowns.
You do love clowns. So this is like Dark Ages clown who is a fool. He wants to be a clown. He's not a very successful clown, and he's just kind of aimlessly wandering in and out of danger. And through happenstance, he accidentally stumbles upon the greatest treasure in the world, and everybody wants to kill him for it. And so it's your classic story of fool who gets everything and doesn't know what to do with it. So I got to play Crazy Face, and that was just like so. That was so fun to get to. I like shaved parts of my head for this role. I dyed my hair blonde, and it was just such a journey to like really kind of make bold choices. And they were like, "Yes, go further, go further." I learned to juggle, and really that was just like once I got a taste of that, of a place to call home that rewarded big choices and allowed for the growth and the opportunities. And that I auditioned for many plays there over the years, and Private Wars and The Pillow Man. Sheila Lynn is an amazing director. She just like really asked her actors to just really go for it, and really got really impressive raw performances from people. Valerie with our amazing play of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, and just getting to, I just it was a really magical place, and to get to do that. And then on the side, in addition to that, also working for Angela Beasley's Puppet People.
Yes.
And to have that as,
I toast Angela Beasley.
oh, she's wonderful. She is like this beautiful gem of Savannah, Georgia lore and history. And she just, like, if you want to do puppets, if you want to do improv and make songs up on the fly, I mean, it's just a wonderful place to get started in puppetry, and to, even if you think to yourself, well, I don't know if I really want to do puppets, you know, you will find at the end of the day, she will ask you to do things that you never thought you could have done. And that's the freedom of that place, is that she inspires you to be bigger than you actually are. And she provides you with the tools to just go for it. She just like, here's the keys, drive off to the middle of Florida. Just go.
Yeah.
Do it.
So did you drive off to the middle of Florida during your?
For some, we drove all over. We drove to places. It's amazing. Angela, in her earlier stages before 9/11 adjusted everything, her puppeteers would talk about amazing stories of traveling all over the United States, opening up malls and showing up with the one of the great things. Most people, when they think of puppets in their head, they think about like marionettes, or they think about a ventriloquist puppet, you know, or Slappy the Dummy, or the Muppets. And Angela's puppets are literally life size. They're from the top of your head down to the floor, legs, and you literally stand as a puppeteer behind them, fully shrouded in black, like a ring wraith from Lord of the Rings. And you follow them around, and they're attached. Your legs are their legs. And I've never seen anything like it before.
Yeah. I guess probably the closest thing that people would be familiar with would maybe be Sweetums from the Muppets.
Yes.
Yeah. Hers are more stylized than that. That's a very Muppet version of what Angela had.
Yeah.
But So I have an image here that was sent to me by a dear friend of ours. That I have to pull up as soon as I can.
All right.
But until that moment that I spurred on you, just out of the blue, let's talk about Jim Henson for a minute.
Sure.
Now, was he a hero of yours growing up?
I would say I didn't really know who Jim Henson was per se, other than I clocked somewhere along the way in my childhood. My parents informed me that the guy who created the Muppets passed away. And I was like, oh, okay. And I mean, I grew up loving Sesame Street. I loved the Muppets. I grew up on Muppet Christmas Carol. And
I just watched that last night, by the way.
Oh, really? What did you think?
I love a Muppet Christmas Carol. It's one of my favorites. No, I had seen it before. I was just watching it again. I saw it for the first time. It was amazing.
Hey, it's a small world. It's possible.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It wasn't really until high school where there was the opportunity to work with a local church-based puppetry group, Hands for New Hope. When the doors opened there, and I was like, oh, that would be fun, because I did voices. I had a range of different character voices that I would do for my friends or when I was acting. And it seemed like a natural, fun fit, right? Because then I realized then when you're playing with puppets, it doesn't matter what the person looks like underneath. You can play an old lady and be a young guy. It's all about what your voice does, right. And that's very freeing for an actor. So that was just like, oh my gosh! And along the way, that's when I really started to take notice of Jim Henson and what a beautiful breadcrumb trail. You know, when you really start to get into Jim Henson, about his philosophy, about life, about how much he cared about his movies, and about the way that he cared about people, and the way that he thought about culture, and about building a better society. It's one of those things that once you find those that appreciate Jim Henson, you really can, it's a subject that you can talk with them indefinitely about and continue to come back to. It's one of those subjects that, like, it's so unfortunate that he passed away when he did, because I think that the world would be such a different place if he got to see that brilliant visionary go on for an additional 30, 40 years.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, it still carries on. Certainly it carries on with his, the Muppet Works and Muppet Works. No, the Creature Shop. And there's brilliant people that he bolstered up and have been continuing to develop stuff on and on. But yeah, a huge formation in my childhood, at least. I was born the year that Sesame Street first aired, I believe.
Oh, wow.
So I am the same age
as
Sesame Street. Let's see. Oh, yes. Ryan McCurdy says, well said.
Yes.
Jim Henson. Yeah. So, good job there. Brendan Davis says, Chris squared. Nice. Yeah, well, always.
That's right.
But here, this is what I wanted to show you. This just appeared in my inbox from out of the blue. I don't know how it happened. Yeah, but can we talk about this picture?
Yeah, so that is one of the many pictures from Crazy Face. And so that's an example of how I dyed my hair. It's for this character. And
gotta go back to it again, because you're losing the image there.
I'm also just like a very hairy guy, so I had to like wax my chest for this role and things to convey a sort of youthful energy. Also because there was a lot of my bare chest that was exposed, which just didn't quite look right for like a youth of like like, oh, I don't know where I am, and then just burly gorilla hair. It just doesn't quite line up nicely. So I'm glad somebody shared that with you.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you can guess who shared it with me.
I don't know who that would be.
Mr. McCurdy. So let's talk about transformation for a minute, because I think that would be like, that's very thematic of certainly where we are now. I think myself, I felt like I've transformed quite a bit during this time. I've become, I've certainly become more adept at what I'm doing here now. I think, at least, maybe, I don't know.
You're doing great.
But you yourself have gone through, this is just an amazing transformation. In fact, I think you've pulled back right now, but you're like probably like maybe 23 hours of the day, you are in fact a tube of meat. Is that correct?
I thought that's where you were going. I was like, yes, I'm a hot dog man. That's my alter ego right now. I play a man who ate too many hot dogs, and he transformed into a hot dog man who is terrified of going outdoors for fear that people are going to eat him. So he finds activities that he can do in the comfort of his home. And oftentimes the problems that he is confronted with inside, they are solved by using the library as a resource. So yeah, that's a video series that I'm creating for the library right now. And it's been a lot of fun to get to play that character.
And that is, in fact, the Carroll County Public Library.
That's right.
In what state?
In Maryland.
Maryland. Yeah. Yes, the good state of Maryland. Yes. I called Maryland my home for about 11 years.
Really?
Well, 10.
Yeah?
2 through 10?
2 through 10. Oh, well, I mean,
very young.
Because when you said Maryland, it kind of, yeah. That's how people from Maryland say it. Maryland.
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 Land of Mary. The home of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, we have that.
Yeah.
We have that grand old line. It's
So Carroll County is close to. So my brother lives in Frederick, Maryland.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Places.
So that's pretty close, right?
That is very close. We like Frederick. Yeah. It's a nice area.
Yeah. He's not watching right now because I don't think he's ever watched.
Which part of Frederick? So I can write it down and knock on his door and say, okay.
Okay, so my mom is confirming that maybe this is my mom.
Hi, Mom.
Doesn't remember that Sesame Street was born the same year I was. Well, it may be true.
Give or take. Give or take.
Probably made it up.
Just give Chris one thing. Come on.
Okay, well, there were guys on the moon when I was born. I know that much. That was the year that I was
in the
born.
Moon or on the moon?
Both.
Oh.
They're still in the moon. We haven't discovered them yet, but I have my theories. There. Yeah. So yeah, Hot Dog Man. So it's very cool that you get to portray this character. Become this character that is in fact trapped inside, much like most of us are.
Right. Yeah.
So in essence, we're all hot dog men.
We are all hot dog men, or your beef of choice. But
yes,
clearly hot dogs are my preferred snack. So yeah, you can be whatever food you want, and that's right. And this recent episode, he just discovered that there are other people, there are other hot dog people in the world. So that's that final unifying theme of like, oh, we're all in this together. We're all collectively. Yes.
Wait, so that's the final episode?
I don't know if it is. I mean, it's difficult. There's the Wienermobile. We got the Wienermobile to show up. So, I mean, it's really hard. I mean, something amazing has to happen in order to top the
to put condiments on that. It's going to be very hard. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like after that, it's like, what else are you going to do with that character? So we'll see what happens. But I don't know. I just, I like the idea of going out this year on the Wienermobile. It's interesting because as you're building these, right? So we were tasked with, at the beginning of the year, creating online programming to continue to engage with our patrons online. And based upon doing a story time and showing up to that story time in a hot dog costume, and the kids just being like, why is this guy a hot dog? Do you realize you're making me hungry right now? Like they were just like grilling me, which is pun intended, and waka waka. And it's one of those things where I just was like, this is a thing. This is going to be a thing. So I was able to bring that in, and every couple weeks you create a new episode and you weave the things together as best as possible, but there is an element of like of improvisation and a feeling of like, I think this is going to be good. And just the act of like making these videos again and again in a series of repetition, you get better, you grow as an artist. And I think that a lot of people are like, well, where do you start? And how am I gonna? I don't know. You just do it. Just do it. Just go out there, put your thing out there, and the first one, you're gonna look back at it and go, man, that probably wasn't best. I think that there's some people get so wrapped up in the perfectionism of like, oh, I have to say my line and I have to go up on this word,
right?
And it removes the realness of the moment, and because they're so fixated on, I say it like this, and I think there's freedom in just going for it and just making it, and all the imperfections, if they're in there, then that will probably be the take, or that'll be the performance that people remember.
Yes. You alluded back to Jim Henson there. You didn't realize it, but I was thinking about his early shows where it was very experimental stuff. It was something in Friends. I'm trying to think of something in Friends. Sam and Friends. That's right. And Sam was a frog-like creature, but not exactly. No, wait, was he?
Well, Sam was like a purpley blue guy. No,
that's right.
No. Sam was a guy that kind of looked like a clown. He got a red nose. He was bald. And then he had Yorick, which was a small purple head. And then there was Kermit, but he wasn't Kermit the Frog yet. He didn't have the tool around the neck and everything like that. He was just like a lizard. And in that time,
hello, Cynthia. I'm sorry, I have to say hello to Cynthia, who's from Mississippi, not far from where Jim Henson was from. Welcome, Cynthia.
So awesome. Cynthia, I wanted to go there. I've wanted to have my Henson pilgrimage take me out that way.
Yes.
It's such a good, oh my gosh, it's on my bucket list.
Yeah, and the reason you know about Sam and Friends and a lot of Henson-esque information is because you worked at a place that is a very nice museum of Henson-ish stuff, correct?
I collaborated with them.
Yes.
The Center for Puppetry Arts. That worked out really nicely because I've greatly admired them for a while, thanks in part to Chris Soucy, a local theater extraordinaire, writer, actor, swordsman, special effects guy, improv odd lot guy.
Odd lotter, yes, odd lotter,
as they say. Friend to Justin Kent. And all around very, very, very nice guy. And Soucy took me and he was like, you need to know about this. And so we went one day to the Center for Puppetry Arts and we watched a show sometime around Halloween, which was The Ghastly Dreadfuls, which was my first introduction to adult puppet show. And typically when you hear that phrase, it's a lot of dildos and a lot of vaginas and other body parts, and there may be sex. But this was really amazing. There was like 8 actors on stage, and each of them had an instrument. They all played live. These different songs that were all pulled from just this beautiful pantheon of music all around Halloween. But then they told these vignettes, these stories that were a mixture of shadow puppetry and marionettes and hand puppets, and it was wonderful to be scared and to feel live theater and to watch as some of these puppets were dismembered or their gore or just specters. It was something that I had never encountered before. It challenged all of my expectations, all of my preconceived notions about what a puppet show could be. And what the Center for Puppetry Arts does really, really well is they advocate for experimental puppetry theater. And once a year, this is actually a really good thing for people to hear if they've got an idea in their head and they're like, that might be an idea. Around December time, the Center for Puppetry Arts starts looking for ideas for their experimental puppetry theater. Now, this year may be a little bit different, but in years past, they divided them up into stage shows and filmed experimental puppetry. And they would provide you with a budget of $450 that were divided up into 3 segments, which helped. And at that time, I was really fixated on a story that I had learned through my local radio station. And I was like, that story needs to be a puppet show.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yes, this is This American Life, and NPR, and they did a story about the Custer Wolf, which is based out in South Dakota, and it was a true story, and it just blew my mind, and I was like, what are the chances? Because at the time I was working for the Hershey Company in Pennsylvania, and
more about that later.
More about that later. But it was a dream come true, because like if I was in Atlanta, if I was in Georgia, of course I would be there. Of course I would like spend every minute, because it's to go into the Center for Puppetry Arts is to walk into one of the most holiest of places and to see your childhood all up on the walls. They have oh my gosh, they've got Big Bird, they've got Cookie Monster, they've got all the Muppets there, but not just the Muppets. They have so many other they've got Julie Taymor's Lion King masks on display.
Mm.
They've got I've seen Corpse Bride stop motion puppets there. I've seen Coraline puppets there. And not just that, but they really focus in on showing the entire, as long as there have been people on this earth, there have been puppets. And puppets have been an important, integral part of theater and being able to like transform into these other entities, these other.
Yeah. You might call it like it was the first version of special effects in any theater.
Yeah. So that worked out. They liked the project concept, and then I was able to assemble a team in Pennsylvania of wonderful, fantastic artists that all collectively were like, we're down for this. We love puppets. This is great. And so we were able to make our film in Pennsylvania, and then it premiered in Atlanta. And then when it was done, it was ours to do with what we pleased. And so I was able to take it around to the different film festivals. And there's been such a lapse in, not everybody's making puppet films, or, you know, when you make a puppet film, there's an absence of good ones. Or you could also say there is, you know, the attention to details, it doesn't always work out that way. Oftentimes because the people who are making a puppet film don't have a budget to work with.
Right,
so they're flying by the seat of their pants. And so like that was just really an amazing experience. So I highly recommend, if anybody has an idea of a show or a film, it has to be 10 minutes in length, but the Xperimental Puppetry Theatre, send your idea to them. And if they like it, they will grant you a small budget to make the crazy puppet film of your dreams.
So the Experimental Puppetry Theater, based out of the Center for Puppetry Arts in Atlanta, Georgia. Yes. And the name of your experimental film is?
The Custer, Custer, Wolf, WOLF, like Colonel Custard, that lost to Crazy Horse.
Yes. So a couple of shout outs here. We have Angela Taylor wanted to say, hey, Chris, miss ya.
Hi.
I've worked with Angela's father quite a bit on stage. So
nice.
Les Taylor, fine gentleman that he is. Let's see, who else? Oh, it's just my mother saying 1969, a good year.
Hey.
Yeah. That was the year I was born, just to elaborate on that. That's just that she just thought randomly shouting out years.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great photo of her, by the way. That's
yes. That was that was like the consummate.
Oh, it's great. You get to like channel two completely separate, like internal, like different expressions. So it's like, which one is it? Like, is one like the internal thoughts of like what you're like thinking inside, like, and then the other one's just like pleasantly smiling, or is it, you know, or do you want just like to capture different sides of your face? I mean, there's so many options with that. Two-Face is like the Batman villain, you know? That would be amazing if you did like J.C. Penney photos of like the old like villains that are like really intense, like family portraits of these Gotham villains. Somebody's going to do it now. Somebody's going to do it now. Yes. Right now. Go do it. Go make money on Ryan McCurdy, go do it. I guess. Maybe. Go, Ryan, go. Is Chris Susi watching? I don't know. I don't know either. I feel like he'll watch later. So much to do. So I would be but he's also one of the best multitaskers. So who knows? He's an amazing multitasking. Okay, so let's go back to Hershey, Pennsylvania, because I love chocolate. And I did. Let's go now. Let's just go. Let's just go
Oh,
there.
good. Yes. So Ryan McCurdy's already he's creating those JCPenney photo montages
Thank
of
you.
Batman villains.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Hershey, Pennsylvania. Now, is this Hershey Park?
So there's Hershey Park, and then right outside of Hershey Park is the Visitor Center, and the Visitor Center is where there's the singing animatronic cows that are free, and you go through, and they're, it's the milk chocolate, tasted sweet. You do that, right? You get your free piece of candy.
Yeah.
That's where I worked. And boring story, Milton Hershey wanted to make sure that children were the orphans of the world received a special trust. And do you know about the school? Do you know about the school? Okay, all right. So Milton Hershey, let's we went in the Wayback Machine. Milton Hershey, he sits down and he says to himself, you know what? I don't have any heirs. I don't have any family necessarily that I have this money. What am I going to do with it? You know what? There are these orphans. There's these kids that are in need that need special access to college, to a higher education that would otherwise not get to have that. I'm going to create a special school for them to come, and they're going to get the full ride access. And if they do well and they get their special accreditations and everything like that, they can then get a free laptop and they can then go off to their college of choice. That is the Milton Hershey School, which is one of the legacies of the Milton Hershey person who built the Hershey Company. Now, the trust, which is all of the kids that still go to the school today, is different from the Hershey Company, because if the Hershey Company were to be bought up, then you want to make sure that these kids still be able to continue to live and grow and have a fantastic life. The kids, they are a part of Hershey Park Entertainment and everything like that. And then over here, the Hershey Company creates those visitor centers. The visitors
are Hershey Kisses that you're dropping out of the extrusion mechanism. Yes.
The visitor centers, which you'll find in Times Square, if you go up to Canada, Niagara Falls, Vegas, and Hershey, Pennsylvania. So I work in there, and they have a 4D attraction in there that if you go in, 4D, which everybody, I think we need to do a better job of educating people what 4D is. So you know how you have all of these amazing senses and things like that? A 3D movie, flat. But a 4-dimensional movie, if I did this with my water now, you would get sprayed in the face and you would actually feel that amazing spray. You would also smell my tea. There would all be all sorts of different things. So that's
smell the chocolate. The chocolate.
The chocolate. And so, so they had a 4D movie, and I, having been working for Walt Disney for 4 years at that point, and also for Universal Studios as a conductor of the Hogwarts Express, I was like, what's next? And I was like, they were looking to audition for digital puppeteers. And I was like, who auditions for digital puppeteer? Who does digital puppetry? The Jim Henson Company. The Jim Henson does it. So I applied, and having, been a native of Maryland, gone down to school in Savannah, Georgia, gone down to work in Florida, the opportunity to come back up to Pennsylvania and to see my family, 4 to 5 more times than I currently was in the year, that sounded pretty great. And being able to also start to pay off college debt was also really important as well. That's one of the things that, some of those lower paying jobs in the theme park industry at the time, they didn't pay the bills, but they fed the heart really nicely. And so I auditioned and I was brought in as an associate digital puppeteer, a lead puppeteer. I got to train with the Jim Henson Creature Shop. They brought in the most incredible Muppeteers that you probably don't know their names, but Alan Troutman and Tyler Bunch, these two guys, they're in the background. They do a lot of these amazing characters that they worked on Dinosaur and Bear in the Big Blue House and every show pretty much that you can. They're there, and they trained the 6 of us on this complex motion capture rig where you stuck your hand in, and where your hands are located in time and space controls a digital representation of the Hershey product characters, either Hershey, Kiss, or Reese. And
you were,
and I was the voice of the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. That was me. For 6.5 years, and that was a lot of fun. And so we would sit up in a booth in this like glorified broom closet, and we would have cameras of different places in the building. And if we pushed a button, we could suddenly like zoom on to the monitor, and then there was Reese, and he was talking to you in real time, and hey, how's it going? But you wouldn't see me. You would just hear, and he would be staring right at you. And the kids were like, what's going on here? What is this? And they would be like, you're not real. I want you to eat yourself, or I'm allergic to you. And you build up this repertoire of things to say to not great kids.
So you're performing in Pennsylvania, in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and it is being broadcast to Times Square, correct?
That's one of the places that we had access to. Is we built a special stream, and we would go at very specific times of the day, because at that point you had to go through this whole process to schedule like a Zoom story,
Sure.
with the character. And so Ryan actually walked into Times Square one day, and that was so interesting because
Ryan McCurdy, ladies and gentlemen.
Ryan McCurdy. To be in Times Square, you get a completely different slice of people than you do in Hershey, Pennsylvania. So you had a ton of people who were international, who didn't speak English, and they were just like, yeah. They were just like, cool. And that was about as far as you could go, and you just hi and wave back and
I see you.
I see you. Oh, okay. And that was just really neat to get to be able to like be in Hershey, Pennsylvania, to see the live stream from New York, and to be able to broadcast into that store. It was very cool. It was very neat. I felt like, honestly, I think that's the way to go in some ways. If you have that technology, if you have that capability, you could very easily be in your home here, broadcast that signal, and make meaningful connections with people all around the world. That's cool.
Something to think about.
Somebody with more money than I. Yeah.
Actually, you don't need that much money, sir.
No?
No, you don't.
What do I need?
Have you seen, and I've shown this before. Actually, I did a show with Chris Soucy, one of these interviews, and I actually used something called Adobe Character Animator.
Oh, I have Adobe Character Animator, but I haven't used Adobe Character Animator before. I haven't explored this.
You, sir, need to play with this program.
Are you saying I'm sitting on all the answers to my problems?
Possibly. Possibly.
Man.
And I've seen your illustration, so I know that you have that talent. So yeah,
I do.
Go forth and produce. Not now. Cutting into me time.
I'm sorry.
So yes,
I had no idea. I mean, I thought it was above my pay grade, but I will check that out.
Yeah.
And you will now know, Chris, you will know that anything that happens and you look at that and you go, I told him about that in our interview. That's going to be your contribution. You can say like, was me.
You talked about the Hershey Trust and this guy. He didn't have kids.
Yeah.
And he took these orphans
Yeah.
or, underprivileged kids of across the world and brought them in.
Yeah.
And I feel like he may have sent out like chocolate bars with golden tickets. And it just speaks to me.
Yeah. They don't like to really advertise that because they don't want to have these kids be the poster children, right? You don't want to say, oh, these poor kids, stand right here and take a photo. Oh, poor, yes, make money for us. But a small percentage, when you buy a Hershey bar, when you buy certain products from the Hershey Company, a small percentage of that goes into the trust. So they're good for years and years and years. And it's neat. If you ever, when the world returns to normal and you get to go to Hershey, Pennsylvania for your day trip, then there's tours. You can go and check it out. And it's so amazing to see because, and really, if there's anybody that feels as if they have a kid and they're like, gosh, I don't know how I'm going to put them through, you should look into it. You should look into the school because there's certain credentials and requirements, and maybe you fit that. And I feel like not enough people know about this program. And I think it's worthwhile. I think it's worthwhile checking out because if you can get through it and if you can be away from your parents for that long in the sweetest place on earth, surrounded by chocolate, then you can have a sweet full scholarship to the school of your choice. And it's pretty good. Yeah, I know.
It'll rot your teeth, kids. Not really. It is the sweetest place on earth. It absolutely is.
Some of those catchphrases, they just don't go away. They're ingrained in there.
Yeah.
What's Savannah's catchphrase? What's Savannah's catchphrase?
Well, I have a catchphrase for Savannah, and I've said this often. Come to Savannah, and it's either a comfy couch or a black hole, but either way, you never leave.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like
For
that.
me, it's a comfy couch. It is. It's a very comfy couch. I enjoy
it. Your feed down there, what people come up with the catchphrase for Savannah.
Shout out your catchphrases, folks. Now's the time. The winning catchphrase will get a personalized message from me.
That's great.
Yeah, that's about all I can give. That's just it.
That's worth its weight in gold. What were you going to say, Chris? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say this has been a sheer joy getting to know you.
Oh my God! Likewise, thank you.
And I would love so much if at some point when we all come back from this eerie musical that we're in right now, and I'm writing the music as we speak.
Yeah.
That we could meet in person. Yeah, Purpson. That's actually it's a city in North Dakota, Purpson. Oh. If we could meet there and enjoy a hot dog together, that would be just amazing.
Oh, I would love that. I would. Yeah. That's another thing that would be really good to know. And I feel like as if I need to set that into motion. It's just who. Oh, I believe they use a dose of Southern hospitality fairly widely. I don't know if that's the best one. I don't know if that a dose. It's more of like
a dollop. How about a dollop?
A dollop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bucket full?
Ooh, a bucket. A bucket of slop and memories. Hoping
I don't know if you maybe watched Ryan's show on Friday.
I did not. No.
Okay, so
this is my homework.
Yes, this is your homework. So, unbeknownst to the crowd watching now, that Ryan McCurdy, who is often a guest on this show, and I have been a guest on his show twice, which is known as On Stage Off.
Excellent.
It is the Savannah Repertory Theater's On Stage Off
I
and
like
he
their
talks.
green room. Their green room is very nice. It's
screw their green room.
I mean, well, they didn't hook me up like this, so that's good.
There you go.
They,
We will hook you up here.
Yeah.
But he was supposedly to have the songwriter and extraordinary composer Brian Loudermilk on his show from the New York area. And for some reason, technical issues, instead of Brian Loudermilk, he got not Brian Loudermilk, which may have looked a lot like me. I've heard that. And he was able to compose music just on the spot, which I find amazing and astounding. And if you don't know this person, you should definitely look him up and look up his whole ensemble.
Loudermilk or not Loudermilk? Because I feel like
not Loudermilk is the one to look for. It's
phenomenal one.
Not Loudermilk.
Great.
Yeah.
I like that.
Or soy. We call it soy. It's louder soy milk is what he also goes by.
This is a good pitch. This is a good pitch for Ryan's show. I like this. We are just cross promoting across the board. It's just good.
Absolutely. Yeah. So check that out.
Yeah.
Also, check out your show because maybe five shows. Is that how many you got in the
6 for Hot Dog Man? Yeah.
Hot Dog Man. And there's also Corky,
the penguin. Yeah. He's not that big. He's about small penguin, and he's got a big imagination, and he goes on journeys in green screen land. He just goes all sorts of different places, and that's another.
Nice.
Yeah, I just wanted a, for all of what Hot Dog Man, which is about staying inside and being aware of like the walls. You'll see a lot of people's houses right now, right? You'll find people. And even in like live theater, exactly.
There it is. My wall.
Oh, the wall. Exactly. We've seen various shades of beige and white, and I wanted for Corky, this penguin mascot of the library, to go on adventures. I wanted him to be able to go to distant lands and things like that. And what better way to do that than with a green screen? So he has been able to just go, and each month he just has another. He goes to a different. I built a giant cardboard pirate ship out of all the Amazon boxes that I was receiving during the beginning of COVID, and that worked out perfectly. I feel like that's a perfect metaphor for what how I handle situations. Is just like you're confronted by a terrible problem. Hey, what are these cardboard boxes? I'm going to build a pirate ship. I'm going to escape to a distant. Yes. Oh, possibilities right there. Possibilities. Man, that's building material right there for your mind.
Yeah.
So he got to go to a land occupied by robots. He got to go to a land with a giant tiki head, and each month he's trying to learn something else about compromising or being just a good person of the world, or sharing, and all those good things. I really try to make content that's both family friendly, but also entertaining for grown-ups, because I know that you're probably the first one that's going to see this before your little kid does on Facebook. And so that's one of those kind of Jim Henson philosophies that I kept with me at all time. I'm trying to always remember about making sure that what I say is usually okay enough for the kids to watch.
Right.
Finding a couple of things for just you grown-ups out there, so I'm seeing you. But otherwise, it's more or less, you can sit down together and watch it and not cringe.
Yeah, I think the genius of good content is when, I can look back at stuff that I watched when I was a kid and then watch it again now and like, oh, wait a minute.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's the stuff that goes over their heads that all of a sudden is hit right here.
And it's just for you.
It's just for you. It's a little nod to you. So Ryan McCurdy he says, ask Heady about Uncle Teddy, please.
Thank you. So Uncle Teddy is before the library, and right around the time of Disney, actually, while we're talking about Savannah, he has Savannah's the Place to Be, which is a musical number about all the things that you can do in Savannah, Georgia. And that was co-written by R.J. Temple, an amazing man, songwriter, puppeteer extraordinaire. I mean, he's just big in Savannah as well. But here's Uncle Teddy right here. And hey, hi.
Hi, Uncle Teddy. How are you?
Reese. Hi. Oh, he's got the scruff.
Maybe a little. I don't know. I've tried to shave.
You just saw me and you were like, hello. Oh, I'm just aware of my chin. I got chins myself. You see these? Yeah.
Those are some chins.
I got those too, Uncle Teddy.
Oh, I see that. Oh, yeah. You're Captain America when he was like, you know what? Avengers game, I'm just going to let this game end right below the chin.
That's right. That's the end of me.
Oh, I did it. I saved the world. I had to be... That's what he's like, you can be Captain America now. I'm going to have this Funyun.
Falcon, you go be Captain America for a minute. I got a box of donuts sitting over here with my name on it.
He's just sitting on a bench. He's just sitting on the bench. That's how I want the next Captain America movie to be. He's just like sitting. Yeah, we just cut to him every so often, and he's still on the bench. And he's just like, this is a nice view. That paycheck. It's good to be an American veteran. Support the troops, baby.
Just catchphrases the whole movie.
Yep. That's right. Yeah. I would just Chris Evans, everybody.
Another Chris.
That's right.
We're the world over. Chris's are the world over. That's the way it is.
So that's Uncle Teddy. He is just a wonderful, wonderful seal puppet, and he's just an amazing character that I've had a lot of fun.
He's irreverent, I would say. Irreverent.
Yeah. He's good. So you can look up Uncle Teddy if you go into YouTube and type in Uncle Teddy Puppet. He's met Mickey Mouse and other Disney princesses. He made a Star Wars movie and
what?
A Star Wars movie. He made a short Star Wars film. Yeah.
Mandalorian?
No, prior to Mandalorian. That's what happens when you're a trailblazer.
Yes. He's a reverend.
That's right. He's ordained.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay, Chris, we are right at the hour mark. So we got like 2 minutes. I had no idea we were going to go on this long, but it often happens. Happens. I lose track of time and the hour comes up and we are just at a loss. And sometimes we go over. It doesn't even matter.
It could. I mean, hey, whatever. It's your show, man.
It is. I do produce, direct. I'm the catering company. I do all the music, the interstitials. Those are all me.
And the green room. Yeah.
Sorry about the green room. It's not my fault.
Although
I think it has some. My green room burned down because of that fire that you have roasting on your ceiling back there.
Oh yeah. We're just gonna
those people on the floor above you. I don't know if they appreciate that.
It's cold. It's mostly just falcons and raccoons. It's fine. They're okay.
Before I go, I want to say congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And this is someone that you spend time with, but you also create with, which I find enormously amazing. Wow. So what a treat.
I love Jessica. She is an incredible, it's wonderful to speak puppet with her. It's wonderful to get to make really bold, creative choices and to be rewarded and to be with somebody that really sees me for who I am and allows me to be the best version of myself. You know, that's, I think, I wish that for everybody. I hope that find the person in your life that will just really see you, and because, like, if you're able to come home at the end of the day and not have to worry about being, just being yourself without having to put on a suit as far as like being somebody else, then you really can grow and become the best version of yourself. So I wish that for everybody.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. I wish that for everybody as well.
Yeah.
And if you can't find someone, find yourself. Gosh darn it.
That's right. That's right.
What Captain America says. Chris, yes, it has been a joy. We are now at an hour 33. So we like to end our show with a specific thing, and I'm going to lead you into this if you haven't seen any of the shows so far, and nobody ever does, because nobody does their homework, damn it. And I'm sorry for saying that.
That's okay.
That's
I go
Captain America can say that every now and then.
That's right.
But what we do is we reference back to the great 80s sitcoms and that moment at the end of the sitcom where transition has happened, something has occurred, something has been realized, something has been found out, and everyone reacts, and then the camera freezes. So the situation tonight is Uncle Nedley has been found in the old folks' home in his girlfriend's room.
Oh. Okay.
So that's the situation. We've just found this out, and we react in our own accord. Now, you can be whatever character you want to be, but Uncle Hedley,
okay,
he's off stage. He's somewhere else.
He's which way?
He could be that way. He's not in the scene. He's like, we found out. Somebody called from the senior care center and said Mm-hmm. So I will give you the count of 3, and then your reaction is how we close the show. So 3, 2, 1. Sitcom freeze.